The console exclusivity wars aren't over yet. Is Amazon looking to acquire a license to kill? And an acclaimed role-playing game hits the iPad. All that and the latest and everything cool today in The Rundown. Hey, welcome to The Rundown. My name is Victor Lucas, and we've got a lot of stuff to get into today. But first, we have to dedicate this episode to Abdullah Fahim, who says, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so I never got a game that was over $20, but I still fell in love with video games and enjoyed these older experiences. Now that I'm an adult, I still wait for games to get below $20 because I don't feel like I'm missing out by waiting. Also, I don't like online, so it's perfect for me. I'm still digging through all of the fantastic comments that you guys brought up in the rundown where I discussed game pricing just the other day. Thank you for all of those wonderful comments, and thank you, Abdullah. I think, a smart gamer is a patient gamer out there, for sure. I think that's a big lesson for all of us. All right, let's get started with your rundown. You know, it's hard to be patient when these console manufacturers also invest tons of money to make awesome new experiences, and that's precisely what Xbox is doing with their acquisition of Bethesda. It looks like that idea that Xbox was going to play nice with everyone is only going to go so far. Starfield, the next big role-playing adventure coming from Bethesda that we know very little about, is going to be an exclusive title for Xbox consoles and the PC and won't be published on the PlayStation 5. That's according to GamesBeat's Jeff Grubb, who is well-sourced and reliable. And frankly, it makes a lot of sense because they spent $7 billion buying ZeniMax and all of the properties and studios that Bethesda owns out there. It was a massive deal, not just for the video game industry, but for media in general. And I think that Xbox is about to fire on a bunch of different cylinders with all of these studios that they've been buying. That ZeniMax deal was just one of the mega purchases and acquisitions that they've been doing. And frankly, when they've got Game Pass and the Xbox Store and their PC Store all bursting with the creativity that they've been investing in and have been promising for a long time, everything is going to have a big sort of shift in the industry because it's going to put Xbox and Microsoft in a very unique position. And I wouldn't put it past Microsoft to say to PlayStation, maybe we'll give you Starfield, but it has to be through Game Pass on PlayStation. You know, maybe that's sort of their end game here with stuff. And I don't know if Sony would ever do that, but certainly a lot of new bridges and a lot of new opportunities keep happening in the video game industry. We're seeing the ability to cross-play all kinds of content out there. Sony's publishing to the PC in some pretty dramatic ways. We're seeing Game Pass on iOS devices. Sony developed baseball game on the Xbox platform. There are some very big titanic shifts happening. I mean, we're all just waiting for the news that Game Pass or some kind of version of it is going to be available on the Nintendo Switch. Microsoft has been cagey. They haven't been spending this money in a vacuum just to spend the money. They've got some pretty elaborate concrete plans, and I think that they're thinking well beyond just the confines of these machines that they've put out there. But what do you guys think? Are you going to be okay with Starfield being an Xbox exclusive? Do you think that makes sense? Do you think it's fair? Are you pissed off that you probably won't get it for your PlayStation 5, at least not right away? I would think that Microsoft would say, you know what, we've had it for a year, we've made a lot of money from it, here you go, PlayStation. But you know what, it's their business to run at this point, isn't it? Well, let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, let's talk about another major media deal that's happening right now. Fresh off yesterday's news of that massive Discovery and WB merger, it looks like Amazon wants to gobble up a landmark film studio of its own. They're in the process of acquiring MGM. Amazon is putting a much bigger emphasis on their video portfolio, and the library from MGM could be a huge boost. This is the company that, of course, owns the rights to the James Bond film franchise, and we've got No Time to Die coming out very soon. Can't wait to finally watch this movie. So they've got a lot of really killer movies just in that franchise alone, but they also own the Rocky and Creed movies. They've got the RoboCop franchise, the Pink Panther franchise. They own standalone movies like Four Weddings and a Funeral, and also The Silence of the Lambs. They've got some television properties like Stargate Universe and Vikings. They've got lots and lots of movies and television shows that would boost the library on Amazon Prime Video substantially. This deal is worth $9 billion approximately, and MGM has been sort of looking for a buyer for a little while, so this could be another massive power play. I think that's what we're going to see, this huge media consolidation that's happening in games for sure, but also with these movie and TV studios out there. And Amazon is such a massive player because, of course, they have their online bookstores, they've got the physical goods that they ship to people, they're entering into the video game streaming market with Luna, they've got Twitch. It really does feel like they're holistically wanting to get into every aspect of how we interact with media, and I think that's going to be replicated by Disney and by Netflix and now Discovery and WB. The way that we access content in 10, 20 years is going to be crazy, you know? I've been reading Ready Player One. And I've just read Ready Player 2, so all of that imagery is swirling around, that mix-up of all of these brands and creative properties. I think Ernest Cline was very prescient with how we were going to engage with media, and it feels like it's happening in real time, these massive shifts and changes. But pretty soon we might be watching 007 on Amazon Prime Video. And here's yet another example of how we consume media is constantly changing. Larian Studios, makers of the acclaimed role-playing game Divinity Original Sin 2, has just delivered the game to the newer iPad models, and it will run absolutely beautifully. It features controller support as well as cross-save and cross-play with the Mac version. There's also split-screen play on the iPad, which is nuts. Now, Larian has got this game up on the App Store, and I think it's about $25 to purchase this thing. It's substantial, though. This is one of the best reviewed role-playing experiences anywhere. It came out originally on the PC in 2017. It's been available on all of the consoles, including the Nintendo Switch for a while. It's available on the Mac. But here it is on the iPad. Now, you have to have the newer iPads, and they're very explicit about this. Basically, anywhere from the 2018 iPad Pro up. It's compatible with the new 2021 iPad Pros, the iPad Air from 2020, and the iPad Pro models from 2018 and 2020. So it's not something that every iPad owner can run. It's got a lot of texture detail. The fact that you can hook up controllers, and in this trailer they show people playing it with the PlayStation 5 controllers, which is really cheeky. But this is really cool. This is a massive, massive role-playing experience. You can choose from a bunch of different races and level up in a bunch of interesting ways. When you play in split screen, the two characters can go off in any direction that they want to. It is super hyper detailed. And the other cool thing about Larian, they've got so much respect in the development community out there. They were actually given the keys to Baldur's Gate 3, and that's in early access right now. Any role-playing fanatic out there has got their eyes on this studio and what they've got coming up next. But this is really cool news, especially for owners of the fancy new M1 chip-powered iMacs, which are incredibly powerful. Very cool to see that this awesome game is reaching new players all the time. And I've got just a couple quick things to talk about. Game Pass has got lots of new additions coming out for the rest of May, and I wanted to hit on a few of them that look very interesting to me. Snow Runner is something that I've heard talked about quite a bit. I've never tried Mud Runner or Snow Runner, but it's hitting Game Pass, and this looks like a blast. You're driving big trucks through extreme conditions. Looks very dangerous, but also really fun. Wild at Heart looks like a cross between Pikmin and Where the Wild Things Are, and it looks like it's adorable and really, really charming. Maneater is something that I've played a bunch already, but this is just a blast of a game, and I'm psyched that Game Pass players can try it now. It's already out on Xbox, so there are a lot of people that have already bought this game, but it's also out on the PlayStation platforms, it's out on PC on the Epic Game Store, but it's hitting Steam and the Nintendo Switch on May 25th. But it's pretty exciting that Game Pass players are going to finally be able to be a shark in Maneater. Knockout City, the new one from VLAN, the people that made us Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, is coming to Game Pass as well this month, and that looks like it's going to be pretty cool too. It's a kind of a new take on multiplayer. It's definitely a little more family-friendly than a lot of Battle Royale shooters that are out there. I want to check this out, and it's cool that we can test it, you know, without having to plunk down the dough for it. But EA is riding high on this thing, and And VLAN is made up of a bunch of ex-Vicarious Vision developers, so you know they've got the chops. So I'm excited to try Knockout City. And I've got just one last thing that I wanted to show you guys. There's a new trailer for a Liam Neeson movie out there. I think we can call Liam Neeson a genre now. It's not just a movie. Like, he's got a whole rack in the video store, if we ever went to video stores anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like the Liam Neeson section. But this one's called The Ice Road, and it looks a little bit like SnowRunner. It's very dangerous out on the icy roads out there, and there's a lot of action, and it looks like there's going to be some revenge elements in there, and trucks that get into very precarious situations. It looks like the movie's going to deliver some chilly thrills. And I'm also excited to see that Lawrence Fishburne is in this one as well. I'll see it. I like Liam Neeson. The guy's giving Harrison Ford a run for his money for longest-running action hero. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for the rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again tomorrow with a fresh episode, so please come back for that. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you, of course, to all of our wonderful EPN members out there. We'll see you tomorrow, and until then, play forever.